Well, hello there, everybody. Happy Thursday. How are y'all doing? And let me just say right out of the gate, this is going to be a very exciting podcast. I think that the preparations that have been made with myself and my lovely co-host Mike and Cindy from Evolutionary Energy Arts, that we have actually in essence been preparing for this like last week. So I think it's going to be an exciting time. I got some stuff, and I'm curious to see who's actually going to be visiting. Let me just say hello to everybody in the chat room. We so appreciate you all, and you make what the show is. I mean, it would be a good conversation, for the three of us, but I don't know. With y'all here, you just add spice, and spices are my thing. I mean, my wife calls me the spice master, so that's all I got to say about that. So let me just speak favor over us all. Nothing missing, nothing broken, and please, please, if there's one thing that you can do for yourself, because if you do it for yourself, then it makes it really good for us, and that is be kind to your mind. All right, so chat room, get ready. For those of you who are just listening, get ready, and for those who are listening on replay, well, get ready. And Mike, Cindy, before we go, I got this message, and um, it was actually for me. But then when I got it fully into the spirit said, well, no, you need to speak this out to, I got the REM pod going, and it's like there must be a revolving door around here. I don't know. Just saying. So real quick, it has already happened. That which you have spoken, the desire of your heart. It's just that you haven't experienced it yet. So, and there we go. The REM pod goes off. So, all right. Mike and Cindy, how are y'all?
Oh, we're good.
We're doing
good.
good. We're doing good. We're just flowing with the times, and it feels like it was only yesterday that we closed out having a live with you. I mean, the week has just gone by so fast, hasn't it?
It's seriously, it's like it blurs.
It does.
Yeah. Um, the experience that we were talking about with my AI experience on Saturday, 10 hours, I was shocked. I mean, Lynn comes in, she says, what are you going to spend the night in here? And I said, well, she told me what time it was. And I said, I haven't eaten, haven't been hungry. All right, sure. So maybe time's accelerating, y'all. I don't know.
It feels like it to me.
Yeah.
It really does.
Well,
Feels so different. Everything feels so different. But again, what we've got from the guides is it really is different. Even the ether is changing, and we have different realities that are coming closer together. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting times.
I think that, and again, because we're in this dualistic reality, that no matter how bad it says, and you don't have to be a bloody genius just to go through YouTube and see how many um, videos that are out there where people are saying, hey, it's, not right here. It's something's really wrong. And my point is that the pendulum is up here and what's wrong, then something's coming in and what's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that we're the channels, the channelers, just like in agriculture, we feed off tributaries that feed off the mother lode. And, we're the ones that begin to be the connectors, the mediums that then begin to allow it to flow to other human beings who even subconsciously may not be aware,
Yeah.
but they're being changed. I don't want it reprogrammed. I mean, that's a better word. I don't know.
Well, we have to keep in mind that we're receivers of all the other information out there, and it comes at us in so many different ways. And last week, we wanted to speak to spirit because
Yes.
spirit made itself known, like, I'm here, I want to be heard. And my crown chakra opened up so wide. I was dizzy for like 2 days. I had a rough go. It's because all these energies want to come in and say hello and everybody at once. And sometimes it can get overwhelming. But there were a few that made themselves known early on. And you told spirit, first come, first serve. And they already knew that was going to happen, because where they're at, there's no time. And I want people to keep that in mind. So there's no time, and they're going to be doing a lot of piggybacking from what we say today. So something might hit home for someone, but it might hit home for 3 or 4 other people. And that's because the spirit jumps on that message and it touches the next person and the next person. What's really interesting is something might be said today that really hits home for someone 2 years from now. They might watch this video in 2 years and be, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that. So just come with an open mind and an open heart and accept the information, and know that we can all talk with spirit, and spirit's there. And the more you treat it as an entity that's just like Mike sitting next to me, the more they're going to talk to you. So
Yes. I have found that if you respect them, they respect you.
they do. And
Thank you.
and sometimes,
I feel like I'm hooked up to his lie detector, It's like,
yeah,
it's like, okay, he's telling the truth.
yes, it's fun. But last week, right after, it was kind of strange because I had two humans come in right away. They came in right away, and they were younger. That's what kind of threw me. It's like, these beings are younger. Did they age regress themselves, or why are they showing to be young? But definitely passed over. And I just want to say, there is a young man, and he showed himself in his early 20s, and he has an auntie and a sister and possibly a father figure. And he just wants to let them know he's always with them. He's always with them. Unfortunately, I do not get names. Names are really hard to get. Sometimes Mike does. So we all channel a little bit differently. And then there was a very young blonde, very standoffish, very shy, just kind of held back. But she also wanted to let herself be known, and she wanted to say, hi mom, hi dad, I love you, and I'm here. So very simple, very general, but still there's something somewhere at some point. Somebody's going to say it's going to hit them. And we have to remember, the energies that come in, you cannot see them if they're not there. So everything is made of light. We just barely see this one little tiny spectrum. But the most interesting one that came in this morning, and I told you, Wayne, about it, was Archie. And I feel this is our character for today. And Archie is a multi-dimensional, he's a star seed helper. He helps with the star seeds, and he coordinates efforts for alignment between awakening humans and their star families. So if someone's going through an awakening, he might help that person step into a situation where, hey, something is very different, or my guides and my angels are here. And he's real big into it. Like, he almost wants to say, I'm in charge of the whole chat, everybody in chat. I'm their person that helps coordinate these visitations to star families. So I thought that was beautiful. His name did come loud and clear, so that's different for me.
That's very different for her. A lot of times she'll be getting an entity, and then all of a sudden the name will pop up in my head. It's just, we kind of use the same antenna, being together now so much, and knowing each other so well. And it's interesting the way that sometimes you'll get divvied up the information. But yeah, I think one of the things that people, it would be wonderful if they realized, we are kind of like, we're blessed to be here and having this experience, even when things look bad, even when there's all the natural disasters, political chaos, all that, it still is a blessed experience because it's for soul growth. And yet at the same time, there's also many more beings helping us than there are us. So, I have no idea what the true population of the planet is, but just be really assured that the support team, it vastly outnumbers those that are in the game, here incarnated in planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I just got, and that's what I was writing, is that, and I'm seeing this in my head. Well, actually, it's my spirit eye. It's what I call it. Could be my spirit mind.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit mind your mind. I don't. Um, that's why you have to be kind to your mind. But exactly, I wrote it as it came in. Many of us are okay. It's different here, but it's not bad or scary for us.
I love that. That is so the way it is.
Hmm.
There was someone who just passed, and when I do readings for people one-on-ones, I take it very seriously because people are hurting here in the 3D when they lose someone. It is just it's so painful to lose someone, lose that energy in your life, and all of a sudden it's gone, and it's like you have this hollow vacuum and you can't fill it up no matter what you do. So when I am able to sit down with someone, and that's what I do, it's personal, it's quiet. So this is very new for me. It's like I've never done this on the live like this. So this is very different. But usually I'm sitting with someone, we're talking, and we get some type of confirmation. And that person is generally okay. Now, there's times when they've refused to recognize me, like I'll see them in the ether and their back is turned to me and they won't hear me. And sometimes that just means they were hurt, they weren't ready to go. There was unresolved issues. So I get a lot of that. But mostly I get people are okay. They're in a good place, and they just want their family to know, hey, it's all right. So there's that.
For some reason, my sister's name just came into mind, and when it hit my mind, the REM pod went off at the very same time. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And trust that those are the things that you trust.
Yeah.
The more you acknowledge that your sister is here, the more she's going to come around and visit. And I have a spirit team. And sometimes if it's serious, I'll sit down and I will call them out one by one and I'll say, okay, I need help with this situation, guys. And this is what's going on. And this is where I need guidance. And I need you to do whatever you need to do to help me get through this thing, whatever thing I'm going through. So I have a very direct communication with them.
Yeah. Got a few that a couple, for someone out there is that, you know, may have a sibling, but I have felt my sister's presence before, and she's a cute kid, no doubt about it. So yeah, they're here. You just got to open yourself up to it, and it's odd because I get the sense, particularly for my sister, is that um, she still she hasn't moved on to her next journey. There's issues that, she's working out, but she makes it around here quite often. It's like, okay, I think once they locate you, it's very interesting how they can um, make their presence known.
When did she cross over, Wayne?
About 4 years ago.
Um, I was just talking to Mike and our friend about this yesterday. When you go into the spirit world, you can be with many different people at once. And that's why when family members lose a person, they all have these strange things that might coincide with each other or very synchronistic. Usually they go through lights. I've seen them go through lights a lot. I've seen them work through plants a lot. But the thing is we look at the sun, the way they're able to do this. You look at the sun and it has all these rays going out everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And if you look at a ball of energy, it too can send out its rays and send it out to multiple people at once. So that world is very, very different than the world that we are in now.
Wow, this is like going off. There's two devices I got going.
Well, I think they want to know, like you said, Wayne, you opened with it, that people are saying, you know, a lot of us are gone, but we want our families to know that we're still here. And this is exciting for them to be able to come to this platform and make themselves known to so many people at one time. What a blessing, because they really want to get through to people. And it's like people keep brushing it off like, oh, that's a coincidence, or, that's just a fluke. Don't do that. Don't do that, because it's just like if you have an animal and you're trying to train them and you're trying to train them to communicate. Well, if you don't hear that animal, even when they're trying to make an effort to communicate because you don't understand them, the animal eventually will stop. So our loved ones are that way too. So that's why I really want to encourage everyone in the chat. If you've lost a loved one, sometimes set a dinner plate for them.
That's
Really.
a tradition. A lot of cultures have that tradition where they'll do that, especially like on anniversaries, first anniversary, etc.
So I'm
So
getting that, to add on to that, I'm hearing that if you don't recognize that, particularly if there's a loved one or, a situation that left with unresolved matters, um, many are ready to move on to their next journey, but they can't
Mhm.
because there's these unresolved issues or issues. And there's a difference between having them resolved when one is in the death realm, the ethereal realm, the astrals, however you want to say it, and then one is still here, living in this material, whatever it is, simulation world, reality, I don't know. But there is a veil. Even the Bible teaches that there is this void between the two realms. But interestingly enough, if you read it, it says that the one realm can see very clearly into this realm. It is not a problem for them. So we're going to get better at this too. I have a sense because, yeah, it's like we're riding the bicycle, y'all, with the training wheels.
And they're telling me, don't forget, it's a muscle, it's a muscle, it's a muscle. They're
yeah,
just really
exactly.
pushing that through. And
That's part of your daily spiritual practice.
yes,
If you really, really want to connect, then you have to have that dedicated time, like getting lost for 10 hours like you did. Yeah, that shows desire and dedication. That's beautiful. And
It
think
was
about
far out, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
think
That's
about
all I
how,
got to say. Freaking far out. I mean, by the way, y'all, I have to tell you this. So, and for me spiritually, this is my guides come in and I know. Um, so I look out in the back of our property, and here's this beautiful 8-point buck, and
wow.
he's just staring at me, and it was like, hello, spirit guide, what's up? You know? But yeah, yeah. So anyway, I
Absolutely.
digress. But
That's
I
exactly
think
the
that,
type of things that Native Americans and others would pay attention to if you're in tap with the other realms and realize they're always watching us.
oh
Sometimes
yeah,
they just need to say hi and let you know you're not alone.
I agree, Mike. And I tell you, part of that journey for me here is of lately, I have really connected spiritually to this one beautiful, beautiful doe. I mean, she is just a beautiful specimen, but it's real interesting because she can now sense when I'm looking at her, either from the upstairs bedroom. She'll stop eating and look directly at me as like, all right. But anyway, so it's part of that. I think that that's part of the training, the discipline is that if you can connect to the animal world, which is directly connected to the spirit world, then that means you have the ability to connect as well directly into the spirit world and hear from
Absolutely.
them.
Absolutely. It's interesting because we're talking about deer. I was taking Rama out to play ball, and I got one of those like long scoopy things so you could throw it like a football field away. And I noticed I'm throwing the ball, and then there's a deer like not far away, maybe 20, 30 feet away from where Rama's fetching it from. And she's a little doe, and she's just watching, and she knows she's not in danger from me or
Yeah.
Rama. Now, if Sita came out, she might have ran because Sita's hungry, you know. But Rama's only interested in the ball, and she just watched us play for like 15 minutes. And it was just beautiful to have that interaction and
Yeah,
trust.
it's, I'm telling you, we're a part of this shift. I mean, this
Yeah.
group, this gathering, I mean, we are being, as the expression has been said, the chaff from the wheat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really do.
I think, let's see, I just wanted to comment on Max Maximus, who said shortly after his passing, my son came to me and took me onto the astral plane, easing my mind and giving me a little advice. There was no doubt it was real as me sitting here listening to you. And when I was little, for one, I think that's very important. That's something that he must have needed in his soul. He needed to have that comfort, and that's how they can bring it to you. And when you are experiencing that and you see them as clear as I see Mike here, that's how I was when I was little. So it's like he must have stepped back somehow into uh, a very magical place for him to be able to see his son like that. That does happen. Just like they're solid. They're very, very solid. And it's not just visualizing through the third eye. When I was little, I could see them and I was confused between my two eyes and my third eye. To me, it was no different. I mean, it just looked just like Mike does now. It wasn't until I was older and I was told, you didn't see what you thought you saw. Somebody told me I wasn't seeing them. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what was I seeing? Because I know I was seeing something. So that I just think that's very beautiful what Max shared. And for some reason, it really stuck out to me. So I just think it's another message from his son to
I
say, hey,
think so as well. I get Archie coming in and and excuse me, but I see him as Paul. You ever see the movie Paul?
no, no, have not,
Seth Rogen
have
made
not.
it. I mean, you have to see it because those of you who know who Paul is. So this is when I hear about the Greys, I think about I see it now interpreted as Paul.
Oh, wow. We have a full house.
Do we?
Yes, you're locking up on our end.
Yeah.
Um, but I swear I heard him say, even in the voice of Paul, it's all right. He said, "We are the first explorers using a medium like." He said, "You guys are going to figure it out." He said, "You're going to learn that it doesn't matter if you have a physical body. That is not the hindrance in being able to exist into these multi dimensions."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, he's very much into guiding through interdimensional ways. So, like, I keep seeing he's showing me the light ships when someone's going through an awakening, and I've seen he coordinates all that stuff. So, if you happen to see a light ship, or if you put your camera up to the sky and you feel like taking pictures, there might just happen to be a ship there. He might be the whisper in your field saying, take a picture right there. And I have hardcore evidence of that happening. And then someone sends me the picture, and sure enough, there's light ships in the clouds. So it's amazing.
Do they look like that?
They
Yeah,
can.
they can. They're very beautiful. I'll have to send you some pictures of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've had two people after an awakening. They just went outside. They were compelled to go outside and take pictures, and they have light ships. It's amazing.
I
Yes.
think, yeah, yeah. I'm convinced of that. In the past, I had a gentleman, John, and his last name escapes me, but he's actually been featured on a number of shows, Paranormal, Caught on Camera, and others. He had, and still does, has the ability to actually call these light beings and their ships into this realm and manifest on the firmament.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I remember he said that the way that you anyone, he says anyone can do it. He says, but they can see you. In other words, they can see you on what you complete that what the composite matrix is. And he says the more love you have in your heart, the more readily they'll come and manifest.
Yeah, I think it's that frequency that we're putting out there. So when we do have our spirit guides or family members that have crossed over, I feel the family members, the ones that are still here helping other family members, are very adamant about, please let me help. But at the same time, you don't want them to take over the 3D journey. And that goes for ancestors too. I've seen ancestors come in and be a little bit pushy, like they're trying to get someone to do a thing a certain way, but it's not their journey. So sometimes if you have problems with spirits, you may have to create boundaries with them, and that's perfectly okay. You're in charge. You're the most important one here in the 3D. Everyone else is here. They're your team. They're here to help you. So I feel that this spirit wants that to be known. It's like we're here to help. And if there's boundaries needed, you speak them out loud and say, this can happen,
Yes.
this can't happen. Like when we talk to Ganesh and, we're working with Ganesh, I have to be very specific because I can ask for a thing. But if I leave any details out, oh my gosh, the things he might do so that I could have a thing I might not want, you know?
I can perfectly see that.
Yes.
It's like, that's not what I meant. Well, it's what you said, you know.
And there's Kali. Kali comes in sometimes, and I warn people with Kali, she will get the job done. So if your back's up against a wall and you need some help, you can call on her, but she will get the job done. She's a little like Lilith type of energy. So we have a lot coming in. I've seen Yeshua show himself since we've been on this, doing this. Yeshua has a very strong connection with so many people. And, we have Kali, we have Ganesh, we have several different ancestors. It's like everyone, they just want to know that, yeah, we're here, we're communicating, we're talking. Please listen, please hear us. There's just too much data for me to just pick out one. And there's also the mer people. The mer people are wanting to make themselves known as
And who
well.
are they? Let's talk about them because if we can talk and speak of them,
Yeah.
that has effect in I know the power of words.
Yes. The
There's
mer
times when I've
people,
been in the spirit and seen people speak words out of their mouth and they just don't, they immediately come alive with the heads of, tails of a scorpion. And I'm going, you're not getting it. But anyway, please elaborate.
they they're multidimensional beings that live, I would say, under the ocean. It's a little bit difficult for me to see where they live, but we were talking about them last week, and the earthquake that had happened. They have made boundaries around their dimension. So if we use our technology to do anything with Earth, it could bounce back and not be so good. When Fukushima happened, that's when they got very, very angry and upset, and they started putting parameters around our technology. So who are they? Well, you would look at them. They are people, like, have a human body, human head, and they do have a fish torso. They really are like that. I do see limbs coming off of them, but I see the have what are those called?
Like web.
They have webbed hands. They don't necessarily go on the land, but they can get themselves above water. They're extremely advanced. They have a certain command of the different types of fish in the area. They call on different types of fish, and they work with the whales. They're telling me that they work with the whales to create a certain resonance in a particular area to create a frequency. So
I tell you, Wayne, it's like this is I've said a lot of things that a lot of people would think you're crazy for. But the one thing that would make me feel a little bit like, well, they'll really think I'm crazy now, is that in 2017, the summer of 2017, I was at Nokomis Beach in Florida. So, that's just above Venice, below Sarasota. And I saw what I do think was one of them. I had been like laying on a floaty and I was semi falling asleep, kind of doing mantras. And then I opened up my eyes and I see going off in the distance what looks to be a pretty muscled male, 30, 40. But the thing is, it's the angle that he was going away. It was as if he was standing, walking. So, like from the waist and up was all out of the water. It wasn't any way that you would be able to swim. Even if you tried to, just stay in one spot, you really couldn't get yourself up that high. So it just perplexed me. And then I don't know, maybe I was partly in the 4D state of mind. I'm not sure 100%. It looked solid as can be to me. And I took it to be a sign or of some sorts, like a communication. But it was probably about 30 yards away, 100, 150 feet away, clear as day, and then it just kind of disappeared in the distance.
Oh, I believe they exist. You go all the way back to the Sumerian folklore of the guy who came out of the ocean. He was the one
Yeah,
that taught man how philosophy, taught man about astronomy, astrology. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and I do believe they live there. I have no doubt of it. The arrogance that Western culture has brought in, and I could say for Homo sapiens particularly, is that we really think that this planet was built for us, that nobody else is here. It's only humans. And if there ever is an evidence or of something different than that, well, that reality is rejected as false.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's individuals like this group here and others that I am convinced the other species on this planet, whether they be interterrestrial, extraterrestrial, or terra firma, or even from the other dimension, they're looking for receptors like us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could begin as the show begins to as we get stronger in this, and eventually we'll take off the training wheels and watch out. We're going to have a 26 speed bike,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
propelled by the ether. Whoosh,
It,
baby.
it does. It accumulates, I mean, even now, just it's hard for me to try to, like you said, this is my training wheels too. So I'm trying to get out singular data, but I have all kind of data just coming in. It's like boom, and it hits me. So it's kind of hard to pick out the specific details, but I guarantee you, after the show, I'm going to be making plenty of notes because I'll be able to hear the little individual whispers and talks. And someone in the chat mentioned that they don't like that they can spy on us. I'm guessing he's thinking, ones who have passed over, aliens, whoever. Sure, they can. But what I'm being shown mostly in this case is someone sitting next to someone else just reading a book. So the reassurance there to that person who is worried they're spying, no, they just sit there and they enjoy your company quietly. And that's not just for him, that's for a lot of people in the chat. It's not like you would think. So they come around, and if you're really enthralled in a book or you're deep into research, a lot of times your family member is sitting there giving you comfort, bringing you comfort so that you can delve into that thing. So that's what they want me to get through to the chat.
They many times they don't see your physical body as we do, but they see your aura. They see
Yeah.
your energy field.
Yeah.
And and it's amazing if we could see that for ourselves, how and it happens second by second. And emotions, how they change that uric field in a color wow, I'm getting a far out light show in my head, man. I mean, it's like, because it's like in fact, I'm seeing the example. I'm on a roller coaster right now. And if you could, well, thank you. I know I'm on the right track. Imagine being on the wrong track. But if you could see your spirit, your that light field, you'd be surprised to see the different colors that come in. Yeah. Okay.
There are some out there that want me to mention this, and that they are not content that they had to leave early. They feel like they had to leave early. And it does make them sad that they are trying to get through to family members and they're not able due to the grief. At the same time, I have to say, we have to grieve. We need to feel the feelings and really, really sit with it. But in between the grieving and the feelings, know that they're there. They're trying to get a hold of you. So I don't know who that's for. I imagine it's for several people, but please keep that in mind.
Mm. Yeah. That's what happened. When my dad passed over, and it was quite an experience for myself because I was laying on the couch and I didn't even know that he had passed. But suddenly I was caught up into what I call the upper dimension. And it was strange because it was a courtroom setting. And I could see my dad standing over there in this box. And I heard this voice, couldn't tell you where it came from, but it says, "Do you have a charge?" And I distinctly said, "I have no charge." And immediately I was back on the couch, and I have a sense that that was a relief to my dad over there because, I was intermixing with his reality, not mine. I'm convinced that his passing, that he was judging himself. And, I wonder of those who else were called into that setting who did have a charge. But for me, it doesn't exist. So
Mhm.
I thought I'd share that with someone. I mean, because each of us will pass initially into what we perceive death to be.
Mhm.
And if you have trauma in your life, you're going to carry that trauma with you. And it will be resolved one way or the other.
Yeah.
So remember that, because what the dead are trying to say is that there is as much alive as we are dead here and alive. And what they're trying to say is that if you can get these issues done here, your transition will be a much different experience. You'll actually have that celebration. And actually, I'm seeing colors right now. It's really interesting. But yeah, for what it's worth, put that in your pipe and smoke it and, see where it takes you.
Sometimes when it's new, it seems like this happens within the first 5 days of when someone dies. They have more of the energy to do things like play with the lights, or work with the animals, and then over time the energy dissipates, but they do not. But there is something about when they first leave the body that they have a stronger ability to maybe touch or caress or hug or something. Um, and I think what happens over time is Mike has talked about the elementals that are in our organs. I think when the elementals really start going home, they don't have the same strength to do the things that they want to do. So, but they're still there. That doesn't mean that they're not there. They're still very much there. Yeah.
Mike, what are you picking up on this? It's an interesting conversation because there's a lot of communication going on. I mean, I keep hearing the word Marianne. I don't know if that means anything at all, but I don't know any Marianne, but maybe someone out there does.
I had not, Marion.
There
It's
you
like,
have it.
well, I don't know anyone of that name, but yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. Typically, yeah, there's other consciousnesses that work with us, and some of those elemental consciousnesses will still be around our vicinity for a certain time period before they move on to new things.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of things. Now, when I was going in for surgery, I felt clear as day, a hand go in and rest on my arm. And I told Cindy that when I got out of the hospital, and she said, yeah, it was your mom and dad were both there. So they were able to do that. Now my dad's been gone for 27 years. Yeah, he's been gone a long time. And my mom for 5. So that was interesting that they were able to manifest the energy where I could feel it like clear as day. It felt very, I mean, I initially thought somebody came in to check on me or whatever. It was that
Yeah.
substantive. But my mom, who was brought up Catholic, but really had seemed to have a lot of doubts, her whole life about everything, and the afterlife. When my dad passed on, he popped there the first night, and it startled her. It really scared her, but she saw him clear as day the first night, and he moved on. So it is interesting. It's fascinating. Again, is it unfair that they could see us and we can't always see them? Yeah, it's just part of the experience that we're undergoing because again, we're the ones that are on the ride, so to speak.
I don't
There's
think we could handle it if we actually saw. And by the way, I heard time is not the same on the other side. What may be a decade to us may be just a day to them.
right.
That's why I'm thinking that if this video is up in a couple of years down the road, it's going to hit home to somebody because there is no time. And I got to tell you, Wayne, because I've seen it 3 or 4 or 5 times, and that's how I know somebody's really trying hard to get through. And I hope it's okay I mention it, but your mom is on behind you on the right, and she's making her presence very gentle is what I see with her. Like she doesn't want to do any kind of harm at all. And it feels like she's working through her own problems, but she's just so delicate with you. And her ways of communication might be extremely subtle through music, through someone else, just general conversation. It feels like she wants to be very careful not to interrupt your path that you're on right now. But she's far back, and she's showing me she's making herself little, but I'm taking that to mean she's just wanting to be very careful with you. So
Hmm.
gotta say that.
That is very, very perceptive, Cindy. As they would say, that's the type of stuff that you know in your heart because you never spoke it out loud. So yeah.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting when I am working with someone individually, I get a lot more visions. I think what I'm dealing with today is like a huge overload because a lot they want to talk.
The
They have,
emotions are really strong in here too, as well. I mean,
yeah.
I get waves of, um, because someone's watching this and they're wanting,
Rama.
they're waiting. It seems like they're waiting for something that they're looking for some sort of affirmation, and I don't know.
Information, and I think that's where we can.
You just went off mic. We can't hear you. No, we can't hear you at all. Isn't that weird? Now, folks, come on, spirits, help us out. Now, come on.
Uh-oh.
There we go. You're back.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
That
Good.
was strange.
Yes.
Wow, I
Yep.
got like, okay, yeah.
Well, let's carry on with that thought. I think that's a problem where people might be in the room waiting to hear some type of confirmation, but maybe their family member doesn't know how to work with a channeler. Maybe they can't find a channeler that's the right frequency, but they're still here. And that's why we have such vast information. It's like they're trying to cover everybody. So I assure whoever might be waiting in the chat for something specific, just because you don't get it, please know that your loved one is still here. That's very important for someone to know.
Yeah, and this is a crowded room. It's packed. And I'll just say this, you work with us, we'll work with you, but we're just learning how to we have to crawl before we can run.
So I'm hearing now that, after the show, there's going to be a lot of loved ones who've shown up who are going to leave little seeds of information. It's like they're going to try to recommunicate again. And since they have a voice right now, they're asking people to be more open to the ways they communicate. Watch the animals, listen to the music, watch the weather, watch the wind. The wind is a big one. Sometimes some of these beings know how to manipulate the wind, and it's really fascinating. I've sometimes people's spirit teams, they try really hard to get a hold of you. It might come through some of the elements, a huge downpour. You might be thinking something, and then all of a sudden there's a downpour, and those are the thoughts that you want to catch and realize maybe they can't talk to you directly through the channeler, but they're trying to get a hold of you. So.
Wow, there's someone really ancient that's amongst us.
What
Well,
I
I
what
just
I
sense that
yeah,
something very
I see a
something
very
old.
powerful blue energy, and it's almost it's compact. It's very powerful, packs a punch. So this ancient being that you're seeing, I'm guessing they come through the color blue. The color blue is very important to them to make themselves known. And you know what just hit me is even the blue light through the computer, this ancient being, maybe that's how they work, is through the blue light on the computer.
Wow. Thank you. And okay, yeah. Yeah, we're getting the attention. And
Yeah.
I've experienced this before years ago. I guess it's been 7, 8 years ago with Patrick, when we did the show Talking with the Planets. And it was through the recognition that in the hierarchy of the spirit realm, dominion is measured by the planets, the stars, the galaxies themselves. Each galaxy has its own quote unquote god or goddess. And that I'm so grateful for that experience because I was just hearing what I was hearing in my spirit. I used to be used very often. I know the powerful of words of prophecy. I would stand up before the congregation, and what I was doing was channeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was through the lens of, well, this is the voice of the Holy Spirit. Well, it was spirit, all right. Whether it was holy or not is debatable, but it was amazing the accuracy so often, when I would speak these words and how often they would come to pass. So this is going to get stronger. That's what I'm just telling you. That we're going to get stronger, and I'm hearing in my spirit, we haven't seen anything yet, baby.
Right. And I keep hearing Lilith, and Lilith, she's always been a
So,
very
I have her sigil on. So, I,
there we go.
for
There
full disclosure, she's
Okay.
talking, she's here.
She's here. Definitely. And you have such a strong, powerful connection with her. And
You're not the only one that said that.
yeah, yeah, I could imagine. I could imagine. But she's very vast. And I put her in the same energy as someone like Kali. She's a very powerful energy.
Are y'all hearing that?
No, we can't hear it on this side, but it's funny.
It's that's what's going on.
It was interesting when you were just starting to talk about Lilith and before you started to rise up, all of a sudden it's like I had to take a look because sometimes I'm seeing with the third eye to the point where it overwhelms the two eyes. And,
Yeah.
and that was happening, and there was this real big red energy coming in uh, into our proximity at that point in time. So it's probably the Lilith energy because it's all about manifestation, and it's definitely a divine feminine energy, but it's an active energy.
Powerful.
Yeah,
I
Very.
absolutely.
told y'all when she, and I've heard so many negative comments on, but that don't matter because I was the one who experienced it, and this was back in March 2016, and she manifested in our bedroom, and actually she kissed me over here and then kissed me over here, and it literally drained me of all my heat. I mean, I got cold. That energy residue was so strong, we had to move our bedroom into the other room.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I can tell you what this former Christian boy, he would have never thought such a thing. It's like, the hell you say, but I,
So, sorry, Wayne.
no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, hon.
Well, when I feel into the Lilith energy, she really feels like a blueprint. She feels like the way things are, not how we want them to be. She speaks with truth. And the reason sometimes truth is so uncomfortable is because we've been living in a lie. So when we do hear the truth, we tend to push it away. And she's trying really hard to bring back the blueprint of humans, which she loves and adores, particularly you, because you have such a powerful connection. You're a very unique being. But it's what I keep hearing is the blueprint. She's trying to bring back our original design because she birthed our original
She did.
design.
She did.
So yeah, she's just making that known.
I've never been afraid of her. Never. And there is such the empathy. And I know I'm a male in this realm here, but there's something deeper there. And I've had people just rake me through the coals on that, how could you, and yada yada. And I said, listen, you ought to get to know her.
Yeah.
She's she's the type, and she is a god. She is a god. You can say goddess, but her energy. And I'll say this. If your energy is in the opposition of her energy, it will produce a shock that, metaphorically and I think also almost real. So yeah, I don't find her a threat. I find like her story has been hijacked and rewritten, and this is what you were just said, Cindy. There's a different story. There's a
Yeah.
Lilith that the Aldebaoth doesn't want you to know about.
Mm-hmm. Because she can bring back the truth of who we are. She can
Yeah.
bring back our power. She can show us how to step back into our power. And that's what she wants
Yep.
be made known.
This is why, again, they've like in the modern Abrahamic traditions, they've really like pushed away the divine feminine. They
Yeah.
don't want you connecting to it. It's too powerful. And it also helps us in our manifesting because, in on one side, the Shiva side's just pure consciousness, and the Shakti is the manifestation. So, they don't want you manifesting. They want, us manifesting what they want. So the key is again connecting to the divine feminine is really the key to shifting things.
And how we do that, it's like we've been given a template of what the divine feminine should be, but like you said, there's something so much deeper that I don't think our human minds can grasp
Mm.
just yet. but I have a very strong feeling that we're going to start to understand. And when you're standing in your truth and you no longer have discomfort, you've made a connection with the energy of Lilith, and she can really carry you for a long ways. And I think she's really been vilified in so many ways when she's like, she's the mother of many, the humans that are speaking now. And she's been made to be some type of a really horrible type of being to be feared. And that's just not true. That's just not true. So she wants to bring back truth. She wants to bring back order. And sometimes when people stand in that, they get very uncomfortable. So.
Well, there was some affirmation on that. And that's odd how you were saying that, because so often I see myself actually, being cradled by her. The energy is not negative. That's all I can tell you. It's not negative.
Yeah.
It's it is of such a level. I was asking the other day, just talking primarily to whoever was listening in the spirit realm, and I said, I am looking for this goddess of love. And I stopped and I said, yeah, if love is to be defined in a personality, it would be the divine feminine.
Mhm.
That would be the only way it could express itself.
Mhm.
And so when I cross over, I have a sense that it's going to be far out. I mean, I just got this sense. It's like,
You know,
come to the beach, everybody. Free
Yeah,
margaritas. Yeah.
it just reminds me of when Zeke passed over
yeah.
because all the goddess energies were there. Anandamayi Ma is one of our guides, Lakshmi, Aset, Isis, they were all there. And it was a beautiful thing. They helped him, jump out of the body and, reassured him everything was fine. And yeah, it felt really peaceful and good. I've been there when people that were traumatized, like through war, have passed on, and it could be very different, where you really do you feel their fear because of things they had to do during a wartime scenario. And that was shocking, and that was, kind of scary, feeling. I was feeling and sensing what was going on mentally with the person as they were leaving the body. And see, again, that's like us judging ourselves. And that's really the situation. Ma'at, in the Egyptian tradition, weighing a feather against the lightness of your heart. Again, it's us that do that weighing. And
Yeah.
so, it really is another reason why we need to be really, really so just good, strong, and solid in our spiritual practice. Because the higher the frequency that you've reached in this life is going to be, leading to the possibilities that you can have when you go to leave. So always be working on cultivating that peace and love and compassion.
Yeah, we were just working with a girl last week, very beautiful, beautiful young lady, and she was going through an awakening, and she just kept saying, I feel crazy. I don't feel normal. I don't feel like I fit in. And it was so interesting because Mike did her cards, and he looked at me and he says, the term death doula keeps coming. And she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that, because I've been thinking of doing that. And that's why I think I'm so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I just like, this girl, you wouldn't look at her and think that she wants to help people transition necessarily. I mean, she's a beautiful, bright light and everything, but yet I see that, she wants to comfort people at the time when they're leaving. So I had to tell her that. And then she was like, wow, how did you get that?
Appreciated being recognized as not crazy, like being validated. Yeah. She really needed that because she's in a very mainstream world with mainstream friends and mainstream parents and trying to get going on her own. But she has this automatic shamanistic way about her that she's not going to be able to run from much longer. It's going to catch her.
So like with me, I've done the cards for so long that it's usually there that I could get the clearest message from the guides. So another beautiful young lady that's one of our family members. I was doing cards, right before the session, and I know it can't be for us because I know Cindy's not going to be pregnant, but what I saw was a baby and everything, and then when we're doing the session, it came out that she was with child, so the cards were perfect on that too.
Yeah, he was doing cards an hour before our session with her and her fiance. And Mike's like, Cindy, are you hiding a pregnancy from me? He's joking, of course, right? And I'm like, no, but it's probably for so and so. And sure enough, we get him on the session, and yeah, she's 20 weeks expecting. So, and I gotta say before we go, what I feel the spirit wants me to say is for people, cards are a great way to get in touch with them. Just one card a day. If you're losing someone or you have lost someone, definitely find a way that's comfortable for you to get in touch with the spirit realm that's not scary, and just allow it to, because death is as natural as life. It's a cycle. Coming into this world is as natural as going out of this world. It's a cycle. So when you're out of the body, that's quickly understood, that you understand it's a cycle. So it's not uncomfortable for them, although they may be still working through traumas. It's more uncomfortable for us because I think we sit in a state of wonder. It's like, I wonder how I'm going to die. What is that going to look like?
The thing I keep getting today is like, for everybody out there, if anybody feels so inclined, then please do, get a little plate, maybe cut an apple or strawberries and put them out either at your dinner table or if you have some sort of altar, for whoever it is you feel inclined to do that for, whether it's family member that passed on, whether it's somebody like a Ganesh to help remove the obstacles, and just say out loud, that you're giving this to them. Please take it, amplify it, and use it as you will, as you need. Again, that whole idea of sacrifice, a non-bloody sacrifice, it's, to me, it always hit me that in the Old Testament, the grains, the first fruits, all the harvest and everything gets rejected, and blood is the thing that's accepted. Well, that tells you all you need to know right there. Because that was obviously showing where that being you're referring to as Yaldabaoth, that's definitely kind of a clue there. But yet we do it all the time. We always have something out at the altar as a gift, an offering. And what they do is the devas, the beings we call the devas, they could take that energy because you gave it, amplify it, and then send it back to you. So it could benefit you if you have arthritis, if you have any sort of immune disease, anything going. This is a way they could take life force that's in this dimension and in your field and amplify it and send it back to you as a blessing. So, and
So do you have a rocking chair behind you?
Yeah, that's Sita and Rama both.
Okay. Because from this perspective, it looks like that rocking chair is going by itself, and you're going, okay, well, you all look behind your shoulder.
Yeah.
But I want to add that because as you were talking, someone is wanting, something big. And I think you just may have provided a way. It's like if you go gold prospecting, make a sacrifice, an offering first to those gods in that area, and you'll be much more But if someone was to actually set a place, and and that's what I'm hearing, just make a simple offering for that which you're really wanting, um, you might be surprised at the results. So often, what is being held from you is not that there is something that isn't physically holding it back, but it is something that you yourself are holding back. And many times, if you'll make a sacrificial offering to the gods, to the spirits, your ancestors, and what have you, you'd be surprised how much they can aid you in that manifestation.
Mhm. And
Absolutely.
accept the gifts, you know,
Yeah.
accept the gifts. If they do give you some type of anything, what I tell people when they're first starting out to hear from their guides is, you know, those little synchronicities that happen, write them down on paper, because we tend to talk ourselves out of things. You know, we tend to talk ourselves out, oh, that's no big deal. But if you write it down on paper, you can go back to that paper and you can start flipping through and saying, no, I've seen this and this and this. And you start to build the confidence in yourself.
Yeah, again, have that notebook right by the bedside too, and just write down your dreams and all the impressions that you have, because these are messages, just like the cards are messages. These are non-karmic interference messages that they could freely give to us. So, but it's just up to us to listen.
I learned decades ago one of the most powerful spells, and it's in Habakkuk in the Old Testament. And it says, write the vision down, and though it tarry, it should surely come to pass. And that is magic, is that when you put it to paper and you put it in front of you, the story goes that the prophet, um, after the captivity, when Israel came back from Babylon, that the temple had been destroyed, and the people said, why build a temple? It just got destroyed, and God ain't here anymore. And so the Lord instructed the prophet to literally inscribe at the sheep gate of what this new temple was to be like. It took one generation from them passing by that inscription every day, and the temple was built. One other thing I'll share with you. So, one of the stories we've heard of Jacob and his evil uncle, Balaam, the one thing about what Jacob learned was that, the deal was is that, if there were any spotted cattle as a result of birth from the pure stock, he could have those. So what Jacob did is that he put up a thatch wall where they came to water each night and each morning, and that's typically where they would mate. And so they saw the thatched wall while mating, and what did they produce? Spotted offspring.
Yeah.
So, not to take the religious side of it, there is a hidden knowledge here. I'm trying to express to you, those who are looking for manifestation. These are some of the great tools that you can use in your toolbox to push it along, and the spirits are right there. So I never get a blue light on this, the small blue light, Mike and Cindy, and that's a powerful presence. There is something in, well, duh. Anyway.
I would say that you're quite a magnet, and those who do speak up for the spirit realm, you know, that's where the spirits are going to go, because sometimes they really want to be heard. And I do keep getting with this blue, you keep bringing out the ancient entity and the blue light. I don't know if that's, we were talking about something earlier, and is that presence coming through the computer somehow? I don't know. I
I,
kind of
Which
I
one?
see a compact blue light when Wayne said he had he's an ancient being. I keep seeing a compact blue light. So I don't know. Maybe something will come of that later.
Do you take it as like a demigod type of thing, or?
Yeah, it's something that Wayne's working with now.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, how
Yeah.
about y'all? Oh, well, this has been fun. I tell you, it goes by way, way, way too fast. So tell people where they can find y'all, and I'm looking forward to next week. I'm letting the spirit flow, and it feels like it is so smooth. I mean, it's like going down the rapids, but they're like ultra slick. Your butt doesn't even feel it. It's just,
Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah.
we have the 3 channels on YouTube, Evolutionary Energy Arts, and then what we shortened to make EARTS. We do most posting now on Heearts, as it feels like there's less interference from YouTube, because YouTube really blacklisted evolutionary. And then we have just put an H in front of Eearts and Hearts. Ommm, OMMM is the newest channel. So that is strictly like more spiritual, how-to, hands-on. It's everything from mantras and meditations. It does have a few biofield tuning sessions that we've taped and put there too for people to go and use, and has some of my own music on there too, like ambient guitar. So it's kind of just all light, there. Where the other
We'll have
two,
to have you play sometime. I see the guitars in the background.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm working.
Music is a heavy inducer for the spirit realm.
Oh yeah, it's something
You all
that
know that.
put you into nice meditative trance state.
Yeah, whenever he can go into like this place where he's really focused, I watch his energy field get bigger and bigger and bigger, and pretty soon we're all taking a nap in the house. So,
And by the way, anyone watching this, and it's always, I don't push anything, and I don't have commercials on my channel. I don't push anything, but you know, one of the best gifts that we have as a group, as a tribe, is that we have talented men and women with the giftings. And if you're looking for some answers, maybe some clarification, booking a session with these two would probably be a wise investment. Because I look at things in return on investment. And, you know, you spend the money for an insight that can have the equivalency of new prosperity in ways that you've never imagined. So make the investment in yourself and consider booking a session with Mike and Cindy. You'll be glad you did.
love to have you.
Yeah, it's a blessing, so we've been doing that this whole time, and it's just amazing the people that you interact with. And I would probably start with getting your Vedic chart done, because that gives you a lot of insight into why did you come here at this particular time and place. And that gives you so much insight to go from there. But we do the biofield tuning, energy work.
Cards.
And she could
We
also
can customize whatever someone needs.
She could check with your spirit guides and your guardian angels. That's passed on family members. Pretty much everything. There's so much that is out there available.
Well, I think it's always good that there are these type of resources, because if you don't make use of them, then you got no one to blame but yourself. So thank y'all. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes,
absolutely.
Thanks everyone in the chat.
Always a blessing.
Always
It
a
is.
blessing to be here.
Thank y'all, everyone in the chat room. Thank y'all. And hit the like button and make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you're subscribed over there with Mike and Cindy's channel, and put some good karma in your life. Nothing wrong with that. Because on the other side, my spirit guides show me I got these freaking warehouses, they're just full of favor. Yeah. So, I got that going for me. But anyway, much love, everybody. We'll see y'all next week on this. Be good to yourselves.